is actually the title of my column in the Nassau Guardian that comes every other Monday. So you can check that out and get some free tips on managing in the workplace and managing your employees and getting the best, growing the best, and keeping the best. People, passion, and profit. So if you intend to make money, people are going to be central to that mission. The kind of people that you get, what you do to keep them, and what you do to develop them while they're there. A basic human need is to create meaning and contribution. Would you say that's the case? So you would have heard Raquel say earlier that if I go on a job again, it has to be where I feel like I am doing something important. You heard her say that, right? And that's what human beings want to do. We want to know that we are empowered, which means that we have control over our life, over our money, over our work. We want to know that we are making a contribution, a valuable contribution to our life, to our community. We saw a demonstration of that on Friday, right? People coming together to do something that was important to them. That's important. Then you have people who want to be, well, all human beings want to be heard and understood. This is probably why the talk show business right now is so huge for so many years in the Bahamas. It's almost as if people are unleashed to speak. People want a voice. People want to be heard. People want to be understood. People want to be seen. Now, some people in a bad way, but people want to be significant. They want to know that I am important. You make me feel special because I am special. And why am I raising this? Because just as this is important for your customers, your external customers, it is equally as important for your internal customers who will be your team, starting with you. So it's important, as Raquel said, that these are the things that you plan for in advance. Very often we hire people because we're desperate. Business going good, it busy, I need an extra body because, like Adar said, I don't have a life anymore. I won't be able to take Saturday off. I won't be able to go to the kids' play or the game or something like that. I just want to be able to breathe. So we just find the nearest person, and oftentimes it's some family member who's probably not qualified, not skilled, but maybe they cheap, right? You ain't gonna pay them that much. Maybe you could pay them in supplies. I have a friend who is in a clothing business, and she always trying to barter with me. You know, well, if you do this for me, then I could pay you in clothes. And I'm like, miss, maybe I don't want no clothes. Maybe I want some money. You understand? Don't choose for me how I won't get paid. But that's the mistake that we make. We find family members that we feel like, okay, maybe I could trust them, or maybe we need to give auntie or uncle a break because they like, you know, get this boy, get this girl out the house, laying around, and here they need something to do. And you stick them in your business. But is that the best person for your business? Probably not. So this is a quote here by this sportscaster. You don't win with the best talent. You win with the 5 players who are able to play well together. So a lot of times we look at who is the most talented to add to our business, and that is the person who is going to make the business work. I don't know about you, but I've worked with some talented people who have some bad attitudes. Some talented people who got some bad ways. So it's not just about talent that's going to make your business successful. How well can the talent work together, play together, get the job done? And oftentimes, it may not be the superstar. It may be that C player, right? That person who may be average. But if you're working with them, if you're developing them, if you have a plan for them to move forward, and you coach them through certain behaviors of what you want them to do and skills that you want them to do, and you leverage the strengths of everybody on the team, then you could actually be a high-performing team. Everybody doesn't have to be a superstar. And we see that on teams, right? You may have one or two people who stand out, but there's some people you ain't don't remember their name. But the superstars can't play without them. The superstars need them just as much. So we going on this journey. I can be the one to finish on time. All right. So first, you plan for the people. And this is what Raquel was saying. The biggest mistake that we make as business owners, going back to this family example, we just put a warm body in there because we need somebody to the front of the shop. And then what we end up doing is we create jobs around people. And that's the biggest mistake you can make. Can anybody answer me? Why is that a mistake? Why do you not create a job around a person? They may not be qualified. The person will determine the success of the company. What else? They move on, either voluntarily or involuntarily. So what does that mean? If you create a job around a person, so say for instance, in a lot of small businesses, people have to multitask, right? You got to do more than one thing. So you may hire, what the girl name was again, Kedar said? Keisha. So you may hire Keisha. Keisha a little cute, you know, and she got a nice little voice and everything. So you put Keisha to answer the phone. And while Keisha there, then you might as well type a few letters. And then while you're there, Keisha, you might as well do the payroll. And while you're there, you might as well, you see what happens? And we keep adding things on because Keisha is there and Keisha is available. Keisha decides, I am moving on. Alive is hiring, and I'm out. You stay with your small business. Okay? I want to make more than minimum wage, and I do in all 3-4 jobs. And that is what ends up happening when you realize now when you're trying to replace Keisha, it's a hard time to find one person with all the skill sets that Keisha had and fill that one job again. And what you end up finding is that now you got actually 2 or 3 jobs to fill. And so now that's 2 or 3 more salaries that you didn't prepare for. You didn't expect. So that's the worst, that's mistake number 1. Don't ever create a job around the person that you have in the job. And this is why you plan first. You think about what your business needs, not the people you have around you. That's where we get in trouble, and then we get emotional, we get attached to people, and well, we gotta keep them on. They ain't working out, but we gotta keep them around, you know, because we ain't want to hurt their feelings, and you know, well, they've been here for a little while, and you see where we get in trouble? So you think about what your business needs. You think about the role. What is the role that you need? So do you actually need a receptionist, or you just was finding something for Keisha to do? Do you need a receptionist? Do you need a salesperson? Do you need a landscaper level 1? Do you need a landscaping supervisor? You say, no, that's my job. What's the function of that job? What is it that they actually need to perform? What are the duties that you need performed every day? And this is something from an HR perspective. You have to think about productivity. Because we can't hire up all these people. You say it now, you know, I had the best landscaping business in the country. And I have all these contracts. So you hire up 10 dudes. And then you wondering why they standing around the truck having a tailgate party when they supposed to be working. Do you have enough work for them to do? Clean that yard. What if you only got 1 yard that month? What you can do with all them people? I mean, you gotta find that payroll. And you better find it because you hire me. Legally, you are responsible for me. So whether I sitting around on Facebook on my phone, that's your responsibility to find something for me to do. So what's the function of the work? What are the skills needed in that particular role? What do you need landscaper 1 to be able to do? Landscaper 1 may only need to, run the lawnmower, so they may have to have some technical skill there. Do they have to use chemicals with this watering and this flourishing grass that Raquel talked about earlier? Do they need to be able to read? Right? Do they need to be able to write? Okay, these are the things that you have to think about prior to. What are the skills that these people need to perform in the function? And then you have to think about future needs. Because remember now, we dreaming big. We thinking big with this business. So 5 years down the road, we may need 20 people as opposed to the 2 people that I need now. And so what are those roles that I need to put them in? Make sense? Okay, so we plan for the people. Next, we got to find the right people. People bring the passion to the job. And it starts with you. So as the visionary, you are passionate about your work. But guess what? I can tell you right now. Mistake number 2, don't ever believe that everybody else that you hire in your business gonna have the same level of passion as you. You got to be the most passionate person in your business. And guess what? You can't expect your employees to put in a 60, 80-hour week like you would. You could expect it, but it can come at a price. And that price is called overtime. Hello. Time and a half. Hello. That's what that's called. That's what my dedication is called. Time and a half. It's double time on my day off or on a public holiday. So we're talking about labor law now. So we got to think about that. We have to think about scheduling. How are we going to schedule people? And you can do some creative things with scheduling because then you incorporate shifts or you share the work between people so that you have your time and your tasks, the things that they are expected to do, is covered. Okay? So finding the right people takes more than looking at a resume. If you could only look at a resume to hire the right person, you're in trouble. Because I could tell you as a practitioner, I have written many resumes for people. Need I say more? So these are people who, if they were expected to do it on their own, they cannot. So you hiring somebody on an expectation that they have a certain skill level and they don't. They are trying to get noticed by you. That's what the resume does. You're like, oh, that person looks interesting, or oh, they have the skills, or they have the experience that I think I'm looking for. Let me talk to them. That's the interview. And the interview now gives you a sense of this person's, not only their skills and their experience, but also their personality. Yes, their energy, what they bring to the table, how they communicate. So if you're looking for somebody, you are looking for a receptionist, you don't want to hire I heard the lady here say the ghetto lady, sweetie, who chewing gum, morning, on the phone. Oh my God, yes. You want that one on your front desk? And guess what? People cannot hide their true colors for very long. And people don't nowadays. It's shocking to see what people do very early on to show their true colors. So you have to, in your interview, ask the right kinds of questions. You got to get beyond, tell me about yourself. You got to get into those types of questions to get into, what would you do if? What would you do if $100 was on the counter and you don't know how it got there? Put it quickly into my purse, ma'am. The Lord is blessing me. The blessings of the Lord are raining. And then that will tell you what? That's a thief. You're laughing, I'm laughing. That's the truth. And so these are the things you got to get deeper into to find out what this person's character is like. And you will notice now that many companies are doing a whole lot more to test people at the front door, so to speak. So first and foremost, if you can't complete the application online, you're already in problems. Because that's telling me now you can't even use the computer. Or then they have many tests. It may be literacy, reading, aptitude tests, reading, writing, math. Then they will have personality tests. They will have character tests. You know, they test for your leadership ability, a battery of tests. And the reason for that is that companies need to make sure that when I hire you, that you are the best possible person for the job, because once you get in the door, it's kind of like marriage. It's very easy to plan a beautiful wedding. But boy, when that goes south, it's very hard to get out, because you're now in a legal arrangement, and that the law requires a certain level of payout if you choose to terminate somebody's employment. And we don't have time to get into all of the legalities of that. But the payouts really are based on a person's level and the years that they were in a company. So if a person is what we call line staff, which is entry level, which is non-management, they are entitled to overtime pay, and they are entitled to 2 weeks, what we would call in the severance pay, right? So they are entitled to, if you don't give them notice, they are entitled to what is called notice pay, 2 weeks of that. So pay in lieu of notice is what it's called. 2 weeks, for every year worked in the company. And then vacation pay and all that has been not unused up to that point. For management, they're not entitled to overtime. Management, supervisory management, not entitled to overtime. As far as severance pay, you're looking at 1 month pay in lieu of notice, 1 month for every year worked, plus vacation and all of that other good stuff, and whatever pay that they would have accrued up to that point. So it costs you money to fire somebody. A lot of money. We used to have a joke at the other place where I used to work, where I was HR, and they would say, boy, it pays to get fired. And we used to have people who used to try, as we say in the Bahamas, their endeavor best to get fired. Because they looking at that lump sum, I could start this business. I'm telling you, I have people who used to call and say, man, how you think I could get fired? Because they don't calculate that take home. Now, if you quit, you're not entitled to all of that. If you quit, you're only entitled to the pay that you would have earned up to that point and any unused vacation. That's it. So if you quit, you better know what you're quitting for. The next thing is organizational fit. This is what we're looking for in our candidates. Organizational fit is how well would you fit into this company? How well would you fit into the environment that I'm trying to create? So if we go back to Keisha, if we're talking about best quality and luxury, you want that to the front, eh? She does not represent your brand. And so you want to pick people who are going to represent your brand. You have to consider now, what is it going to cost you? And here, you can be creative when it comes to hiring, because as a solopreneur, and as if you want to expand your operation, you don't necessarily have to hire full-time employees. You have a lot of people who have been laid off or downsized or for whatever reason in transition. And so because they're so tired of the stress of the work environment, you have a lot of people who are willing to work on contracts, just on pay as you go. You have a lot of people who are interested in that today. So if you need, for instance, like a graphic artist, or you need somebody to just do some tasks for you, you may be able to find somebody as an independent contractor who will just perform those duties for you. And then you're not responsible for national insurance and all those other benefits as you would be with a full-time employee. So that's another consideration that you can make. There are a lot of people out there who are willing to do that. Just like accountants and lawyers, you don't have to put them on a retainer and pay them $5,000 a month like Miss Raquel, right? You may be able to just pay them. That's what it is. She said you're paying for quality. That's the point. But you would pay, if you understand what I'm coming from, you would pay per job, or you would pay for a period of time, right? So you contract the service, and then you're not really obligated to them as an employee. And then you want to look for their level of passion. Now, you have some people who really could fake it now. They'll come and they show their best foot forward on these interviews now. And when they get on the job, you wonder, who is this person? This ain't Keisha now. I don't know who this is. Just Shaquanda or somebody, because this ain't the Keisha that I interviewed. And I'm on my last slide. So my last slide is plan plus people plus passion equals profit. So if we want to make money, we gotta have a plan. We have to plan for the people. We have to know the kind of people that we're looking for. We have to look for the passion. And so just to recap everything, you have to think about your overall vision and the roles that you need. So you plan this out first. And usually in a business plan, this is required of you. They will call it a manpower plan. How many employees you think you need? What is it that you think they need to do? What are the skill sets that they need to have? Then secondly, just the same way that you want to think about your customer experience or the value proposition that you deliver to your customers, you have to think about that as it relates to your employees as well. What is the work environment and the work culture that works for you? So I have someone that I worked with, a couple business owners that I coach on, as like an executive coach. And they want an environment that is like, I guess you would say Google and Yahoo, that kind of relaxed environment where it's not about a bunch of layers, where people have to get a bunch of permissions to do things, and they want it to be like a family atmosphere. They want people to dress casually. So they have decided from the beginning what they want their work environment to be like. So they want it to be fun, but they want it to be productive. And you create that environment. You create that culture. That's deliberate. Otherwise, if you don't do it, people will come into your organization with their baggage, so to speak, or their experiences that they've had, and then we hear these terms that we hear all the time. Well, where I used to work, they used to do it like this. And they want to come and impose that on you, and because you don't have a plan and you so busy, signing all these contracts for all these yards, you're gonna go landscape, you letting the people do whatever they want. You ain't watching nothing. And you end up with a mixed up mess in your work environment. Prepare for people before you bring them on board. Don't hire the people and then figure out, oh God, how I can pay them. I got payday. You better have faith on Friday. You got exponential faith on Friday. Okay? Supernatural faith. You better know when you decide to take that on if you can afford it. Can you afford this? Do you understand national insurance? How to pay it? There are different types of registration, even for businesses, because you can register as a self-employed, or you can have a secondary registration, which is people who are on a job, and your primary job is paying your national insurance, but you have a side business. That's called a secondary registration, and you can register the national insurance. All they need to know is that your job is paying your national insurance. You don't have to pay national insurance again. But if you have employees in your side business, you need to be paying for them. So you need to be able to know these different processes and steps and understand where to go, what to do, who to talk to, prepare for the people. I've heard many horror stories. This young lady says she went on the interview and the people put her to work. She ain't getting no letter, she ain't getting no contract, she didn't know what her pay was. They put her to work. She went for an interview. Okay? And they was treating her bad on the first day. Because she asking questions and the man tell her, say, don't ask no questions, do what I tell you to do. She was like, okay, I don't think I want to work here anymore. What's the environment that you want to create? Is it a learning environment? Is it where people feel that they can make mistakes and it's, not okay, but I could learn from it? What's the environment? And you prepare for that. You prepare for people. Who's going to train these people? You busy running after your contracts and doing all this other stuff. Who's going to make sure that this person is prepared for the work? Next, you want to consider your present and your future staffing needs. So as your business grows, how are you preparing for the future needs of your business and how you will execute the work? And if that involves hiring, full-time, part-time, contracted employees. Next, you want to budget for development, growth, and incentives. So you would have heard this before. You want to have a budget for training, whether a person may come and say, well, you know what, I want to get a certification in landscaping. I don't just want Saturdays off to go to class, but I want to know if you spot me the $500, boss. It costs $500 to register. And I doing this good work. I's one of your best workers. In fact, I's your best worker. You understand? So, I don't see why you can't spot me that $500, you know what I mean? Because I working hard, in the hot sun and everything, you know what I mean? You can invest that? You plan for that? And then what is the plan? I finish my certification, and then I go across here because she offering me $20 more. So your $500 just, you suck it up. That's what you call having a training policy. So now if I paying for you to go to school, you got to give me something. So you better sign on the dotted line. You can't leave before 2 years, or you give me my $500 back. Oh, this thing go with sense, oh, you in control. And we want to budget for incentives as well. What are we going to do to incentivize our employees, to make them feel good? We have to get out of this mentality that if you got a job and you getting a paycheck, you should be happy. Everybody want a little extra. Exactly. Right? We see it in relationships. Yeah, you may pay the mortgage and do all these other things, but I want to feel like a woman too. You could tell me I look pretty. Take me out, do things that I like, pay attention to me, listen and not glaze your eyes over. You see what I'm saying? There's a little extra that you can do, and it doesn't always cost a lot. I have a friend who is an esthetician. She does like spa type stuff, and she does spa parties for organizations. And she said for a company that has 10 people, I think she charges $25 a person for a basic service. That's $250. But you have some people coming away feeling like, boy, I just had a 15-minute massage. I feel like I could take on the world right now. and they think you're the best boss ever. They go talking to everybody. Boy, I had a spa treatment to wake today. How much does it cost to have a little pizza party? We talked about that, having some cold ones or whatever. What are the things that we're going to do to make people feel appreciated for the work that they're doing to invest in your business as well? And finally, you want to become what you want to attract. Become what you want to attract. You want awesome employees? You need to be an awesome boss. Y'all ever saw the movie Horrible Bosses? Where they was plotting to kill them people? You want to be that boss that stresses people out, that keep promising the incentive. They promising, oh man, if you meet your quota, you can get that spa treatment, and that spa treatment never come. Or you sexually harassing people, you know, asking for somebody for a little bit. You want a raise? I'll give you a raise, baby. Just come on over to daddy's desk. You don't want to be that guy or that girl, because remember, it was a woman sexually harassing that man in that movie. That's right. So you want to become what you want to attract. You don't want to attract top talent and you don't know what you're doing. Attracting top talent and you're not prepared for them. I remember going into an organization, one of the ones that we, were thrust out of, Kadar and I. But I remember my first week experience, and it was not pleasant. Because you come there on day one, and your expectation is that you're going to be treated in a certain way. So you go in on day one, you ain't got nowhere to sit. You're walking around with your bag all day. You got to come over and say, Mom, I could sit here with you. Now I don't know if that was supposed to foster teamwork, right? But every day, who I sit next to change. I mean, like, hello. So we used to call it like the dorm room. You just come in wherever you could find a little spot. How does that make an employee feel? Yeah, uncomfortable. Like, you ain't ready for me. You ain't prepared for me. That you're not welcoming me. And J.W. Marriott, from the Marriott chain of hotels, says happy employees make happy customers. So the time and the effort that you make, and it doesn't have to take much. Trust me, it doesn't have to take much. People just want to know that they're appreciated, that they're welcome, that they're made to feel important, that they are heard, that they are understood, that they feel significant, that they're making a difference. And trust me, it will go a long way. You will have profit at the end of the day because you would have attracted the right people who are passionate as you about your business.